Welcome back, vaqueros. Welcome back to another shotgun video. This video is going to be all about the 890 with slugs. Now, before I get into it, also timestamps below in the description if you don't want to hear me ramble for a second. But first of all, it's been a whole week since I've uploaded. I'm sorry about that. I've been incredibly busy, but I'm going to try to get back onto some schedule here. It's just been kind of insane. Also, there was a patch and update for Warzone 2, and they did in fact nerf the Bryson's one-shot kill ability. We saw it coming. It did finally happen, so I'll be making a separate video about that, but I need a little bit more time to kind of test things out, and I want to try some other builds and stuff, so just keep an eye out for that one. So I wanted to make a video for you guys today on something I've been wanting to make it on, which is the Bryson 890, and why I think it's the best slug shotgun out of all the shotguns we have in Modern Warfare 2. And this kind of goes alongside the Bryson 800, but I think that when it comes to slug, this one inches forward a little bit more than the Bryson 800. So let's just get into the class and we'll talk about the attachments. So this is the class setup, my tried and true way for rocking slugs on this gun. It's very good. As you can see, I'm not rocking the barrel. I have a different stock than the small stocks. So this is a good build, and I'll go over it in just a second. But first, I want to go over some basic sort of damage ranges and stuff like that, because that's important to know. So with this gun, you can basically one-shot kill out to about 12 meters, stomach and up. So as long as you're hitting above the torso, it will be a one-shot kill, no matter what. Then from about 12 to 30 meters, it'll only be a one-shot kill if you're hitting the chest area and up. And then for headshots, I couldn't really find a range it wouldn't one-shot kill headshot, but it's also incredibly hard to test because the slug just, my god, they're so inaccurate at long distances. It's kind of ridiculous, but it's not really going to be a problem in most multiplayer maps. You're probably going to be okay. Now, these ranges will put the 890 just behind the Bryson 890 and the Lockwood 300. Both of those guns have a one-shot kill stomach and up at about 13 meters, with the Lockwood seemingly having a better chest one-shot kill range, which is about 40 compared to the Bryson 800's like, I don't know, 32 or something. So this gun is just slightly behind, but these ranges are so close, it just doesn't make that huge of a difference in my opinion, especially for 6v6 game modes and ground war and stuff like that. So even though it's lacking in range, one of the things I like about this gun is that the base gun has better mobility and a better aim down sight speed than the other two shotguns. The Lockwood 300 is kind of sluggish. It has a slower aim down sight speed, as you can see on sim.gg, but the Bryson 890 actually has a faster aim down sight speed than the other shotguns. That's why it's so nice, and that's why I like it so much, because you're fast and you're snappy already out the gate, more so than the other shotguns. So because it has a little bit of a better advantage when it comes to aim down sight speed and mobility out the gate, and you're only really losing a little bit of range compared to the other big heavy hitting shotguns, I think this one is an awesome one to go with because it is so strong and it is so snappy. So with this build, let's go over some of the attachments. So first off, I'm using the Bryson choke. This is one of my favorite attachments on these shotguns. The Bryson choke gives you the tightest spread out of all the other muzzle attachments, and you might be thinking, why do you need that on a slug? Well, the slugs do have a little bit of bloom or some spread. Basically, if you try to hit a target at 50 meters, you might notice it goes to the right or to the left quite a bit, and that's what this helps. And at long ranges, it's still going to be a bit of a problem no matter what attachment you use, but this seems to help up close. And now I would recommend a suppressor like the SA-MX50. That's probably my next runner-up attachment here. It's just that it weighs your aim down sights by quite a bit, so I don't always recommend it for snappier builds, but if you can get away with a slower aim down sight speed, go for the suppressor, the SA-MX50. You'll get a little bit better range. We're talking a one-shot kill stomach and up out to about that 14-15 meter mark. So that is nice, but it's not a huge boost. It's just that it's very slow, and so just keep that in mind. But I do recommend the choke most of all, since at the ranges you'll be using this, it'll be okay with just the choke, I promise. So then we have lasers, and for that I'm using the VOK 7 milliwatt. Again, this one is a little bit of a preference because I like having that fast aim down sight speed, and even though the laser is visible when you aim, I'm okay with that because I don't pre-aim quite a bit. But if you like to pre-aim, maybe take off that laser and use something like the Point G3P for a little bit better hip fire, because in a tight pinch, you're going to need that hip fire in some instances. Not a lot, but sometimes. Or you can completely take off that laser if you want and just use something like the 5-round mag or maybe an underbarrel and tune it for aim down sight speed. Then for the stock, this is one of the most important attachments in my opinion, is the FSS Guardian stock. Now we do get some aim down sight speed here, but the big thing is we're not losing a ton of aiming stability. We're actually gaining a little bit, and it makes this thing very steady when you're moving around. One of the big issues with slugs is if you're using something like a stock stockless pistol grip or the sawed-off mod, it makes it really difficult to keep your sights steady when you walk around, and even though it is possible, I don't recommend it for being pinpoint accurate. It is possible, like I said, and you might be able to make it work. I do at times, but I think I prefer the FSS Guardian stock out of all the other stocks. And hey, you get stability with aim down sight speed, so in my opinion, that's a win-win. Then next we have the Demo X50 Tactical Pump. Again, that's nothing new. We use that basically every Bryson build because we get a faster fire rate and aim down sight speed. And then of course we have the 12 gauge Slugs. As for the tunings, I'm not going to really bother showing them on screen because you guys know by now how to tune your gun and you know kind of what direction to go in. Just make sure you keep an eye on that graph. They did update the graphs recently. They should be a little bit more accurate. Again, hoping that's actually accurate and not just something they said that's not really true. But tune it how you want because I prefer a tighter pellet spread, for example, but someone might prefer a sprint to fire speed boost. So I will leave that up to you guys and maybe go into a separate video on its own about shotgun tunings in general. But that is the class that I recommend, guys. This thing is a ton of fun and I love using it. This is my favorite slug shotgun out of all of them. If I'm feeling really ballsy, I might go with like the super shorty slug build on the 800. But this is definitely, in my opinion, the most balanced and well-rounded out of all the slug shotguns. It's not by a huge margin, but it's easily my favorite, and hey, it looks damn cool. This is such a sexy looking gun, so I really enjoy it. But overall, guys, I want to know what you guys think of this build and what you guys think of the shotgun with slugs in general. Do you agree with me and think it's the best one overall? Is there another shotgun with slugs that you prefer? And with all that being said, guys, I will see you in the next video.
Reloading.